Hello, welcome to Top of the World. I'm Simon. Behind me is my Skogswagen forest tractor. We're on the property where we moved the cabin to, and the cabin's to my right and is now saved. It has a roof, a new roof. It's up in the air, it's got full airflow round it, it's sealed off for the winter. It's not the only cabin on this property that needs saving. We have to save another one. We can't do that till next summer, which is when we intend to raise it up out of the ground where it has sunk. However, it's enclosed by trees, so we're going to clear that today and do some general tidying up on the property. So we've got the tractor and the dog park there. If I swivel you in this direction, there is the cabin we closed up for winter yesterday. So it's moved, it's up high, it has good airflow, it has a roof and it's closed in. But if I turn you around, just through there, you might get a little look at another cabin that needs rescuing. So let's take a walk over there and see what we've got. Right, so it's going to be a little tight and awkward getting through here with the tractor. I wish I had a straighter route across this ditch, because that is not, you can't see it very well, but that's not conducive to bringing the tractor and the trailer through on an angle. Okay, so we have another little cabin in there, and our goal today is to clear all these trees on this side and all the trees on this side, and then next summer we'll be raising that up out and setting it on blocks, bricks, rocks, because it's rotting away in there. It's got no airflow because of all these trees and it's sunk. You can see we've got some evidence of advanced rot on the bottom logs. It's well and truly in the sand. So I'm not sure what lives in it or what it's got in it. Immediately I can see some sashes I was looking for. Look at that, that's exactly what I was looking for. Okay, let's put some light on. There, well, you can't see anyway. Anyway, it's a beautiful old log cabin, storage, woodshed. Whatever it is, it's way too far in the ground. So we have this like a triangle almost of trees that's all got to come down. It's got the original boilerplate roof on it again, but you can see how far that has sunk in there, and how it's crowded in. We're right on the edge. It's interesting. We're right on the edge of an untouched forest, or you know, it's very old, and the property next door has been clear cut. Let me have a good guess here. I'm guessing 15 to 20 years ago. Yeah. But this property is uncut and goes all the way back, a long way. So long may that continue, but when you've got an uncut forest like this, you've got to maintain it, and it's time to maintain it. So we've got a couple of big birch in there, and then a number of small pine. There's an old dead willow over there. There is a really big tree, which I've got to be really mindful and careful of. So this is it's going to be an interesting challenge lifting this, because it's quite rotten, but anyway, I think we can do it. There's some old farm machinery in there. Right, so all this has got to come out. This is just strangling it all the way back to this old girl back here, and we've just got to be gentle with her. Look at that. Now, there ain't too many of these left. It don't look very well. It's yellow pine. It smells sweeter. Has all these funny old side branches coming off, which The modern species of pine that's planted here does not. Anyway, it's quite old and quite sick. But I should imagine it needs some air, and it's getting strangled with all these small ones. There, so if we clear through all of this, we'll let that cabin breathe. And this is quite sick. It's quite sick and mostly dead, unfortunately. Okay. 'Tis the season. Something's been chewing on that. Yeah, don't you touch it, Bee. It's quite interesting property, this. It used to have a lot of fields and stuff. They're really... Deep forest doesn't start until you get back there, and all of this has grown up. And if we stand on this property, we can see there's the property line. That's clear cut that way, and on the other side we can see the property line there, and that's clear cut that way. And this stretch of forest goes all the way back. It does open up much wider. It's quite a thin part here. It does open up wider, but needs some maintenance. So we're going to start with clearing this area, and then there are numerous trees marked up. We're going to start and do a little bit of thinning, but let's get this cleared so this cabin can breathe, and we've got some room to lift it up and get it in the air. So generally when you've got log cabins like this and it's made out of the old yellow pine, right, there's very few yellow pines left. Very few yellow pines left, but this yellow pine was native to this area. It's a very hard pine, but once you get that up into the air, you've got a better than average chance of saving it. So that's what we're going to do. There's a very interesting structure over here. So the land was covered by glacier debris. All the land was covered by glacier debris, and the early settlers here, which wasn't that long ago, 150 years tops, cleared the land of the rocks. And this is a rock dump. So this is all the rocks that were cleared from the fields. And these were scattered everywhere. These were all round boulders that have been ground round by the glacier as it moved south. And it's quite an extensive rock dump. Huge area of just rocks that have been removed from the fields and dumped here. And this is all top surface dump, so a lot of them are about the same size. We have boulders here, I'm sure you've seen in previous videos, they're the size of houses. And in the old days, the old boys, they blasted them in half. Blasted them? Yeah, they used explosives and they cut them in half so they could get to the lee side to get the gold out from underneath. Anyway, there's a very, very sick birch there. Yeah, that's dead and snapped. So you can see there's little pockets that just need a little bit of clearing out to get the air through. I don't know how long that's been there and dead, but oh, that's I'm surprised that's stuck in that tree up there, that's why. Yeah. All right. Anyway, and this all would have been done by hand or with the aid of horses. There weren't that many horses up here though. There were horses used, but just not that many. And, well, I say not that many. Pretty much all the farm equipment that you find in these sheds is all horse-drawn. I've seen more horse-drawn farm equipment here than anywhere else in the world. Because they literally, because the history is so new, they literally just wound it in the sheds, got rid of the horses, and the next generation came. And we're at the end of that second generation. So the generation that's old now, their fathers, everything was horse-drawn. So, and I know this because Obviously all the old people that are old now or have died in the last 2 years, their fathers, they were some of the original settlers that worked the ground with the horses, and their grandfathers. Okay, so yeah, I would like a straighter run. You can see me tipping the trailer over here. That's part of the rock bank, isn't it? Really? You have to have a stick that big that you clout me with every time you go through? Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. I think the ditch is slightly deeper here, but it is a straight run through. Yeah, you can't really see that on camera. If I was to clear that small one there, which is dead anyway, I'd have a straight run across this ditch. That's an ancient stump. Yeah, it's not a particularly easy place to get into. Okay. Alright, well I'll work this out, which is the safest route, but we might have to do several little runs in here, because if we load the trailer up, I can tell you, looking at the land there, which you can't see because it's all, you just can't see it, but that'll tip the trailer. That will. And the moose have been, look at that, stripped. Could be reindeer, but more likely to be moose. Right, let's get on. So there, the few branches that I cut off of there so I didn't damage that as I went past, that I put in the ditch, which made the difference to the tractor rolling. There are my smalls. And then I've got this pile here and this pile here of tops. Now, is picking up all the tops completely unskilled? Oh yeah. Should I be doing that? Definitely, definitely not. Absolutely, categorically not should be doing that, because that kills my back. Also gives me a unhealthy pain in the chest. Anyway, so we're up to this end now. So we're going to take that down. I'm so pleased with how this has opened up this beautiful building. Because you can see much more the extent of the rot in it. Anyway, do I believe that it can be saved? Yes, I do. Yeah, that's going to make a huge difference. And the problem has been a lot of the farms fell into disrepair because the youngsters, they go south and just do. And they're not interested. And I'm got the same, having the same issue, is there's no young men. There's nobody young to learn and do the labouring work. They're just not here. They get to a certain age and they go south and they don't come back because they don't have to do this. That's all I'll say about that. Right, okay. There's not really much in there, it's all small stuff. Right, I'm going to have to delayer the temperature. Whew. Temperature's risen, it's stopped raining. It's time to get all this off and allow myself to breathe. Right, let me clear up this side, put all the tops over here, maybe make another pile over there, pick up all the big stuff, and then move on out. So my original idea was to then, because I haven't got a skidder here, to then load and then unload in a certain point and then pick up again. It's going to be a waste of time. So I'm just going to keep loading until I'm full, then go back to the yard and empty that and then come back, then I can pick up all the tops. And we're going to put the tops down the front on top of the pile from the tops of the big fir that came out to put the cabin there last year. very early. Anyway, I got here really early, took the tractor back to the yard. It's about an hour and a half run there and back, I suppose. And I've picked up all the tops and I'm about to drop off the tops, so I went and grabbed my tripod and my camera, obviously, so I can film it. And very often I feel like the little boy calling Wolf, as I have all these bear encounters and bear sightings and bear attacks. Camera's never running, never caught anything. And then those people that don't spend anywhere near as much time out in the wilderness as I do say, oh really? Well, I haven't seen any. Right. Well, this morning I didn't see him either. But yesterday, you know, I smelt him and he's around. He, her, it, bear. So I've just walked out the tractor this morning. Right. Now I've got to find it again. Don't let me down. There's the biggest bear shit. Right, you'd want to stand in. There we go. Berries. Now, it's been rained on. So, it's very likely that was yesterday's. So when we're down the bottom of the property, we were up there, up the top. So, when I smelt it yesterday, chances are it was down here and exited through there and came up to see what I was doing. So I smelt it, but I didn't see it. But that was here yesterday, for sure. And I've seen, I don't know if you can see through there, that wooden. So I've seen the bear in there, and we've seen plenty of evidence of the bear. So the bear was around yesterday, thankfully, gave me a wide berth. Long may that continue. Right. There's some really interesting mushrooms and fungi about this time of year. They're mainly rotten now. So that's the pile of tops from over there where we took down the really big fir that was in the way, and now we're going to put that lot on top of there. It has rained for days. It's a really good time to like, what's that over there? No, that's all right, that's Casper. Okay, right, let's set you up then. in February. There's nothing like being out in minus 20s and logging and using the snowmobile and fighting through the snow. Yeah, logging in the sunshine, much better than logging in the darkness. So how's your tyres, Simon? Lovely. There's absolutely no rocking and rolling, which is really nice. Smooth is what it is, and no breakdowns. Yeah, I've got no wood to touch. Hang on, let me just touch my head. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Snow markers, in case anybody's wondering what these orange poles are. And they mark the edge of the road and the depth of the snow. They got a reflective band, really useful. Some of you would have been very familiar with these. Anyway, there we go. There's the railway line. We've been going for about 25 minutes now, and all we've seen is that fuel tank go past. Anyway, and I could wind her up a bit more, but what's the point? We're supposed to be, here comes a vehicle. Yeah, we just don't need to be going any faster than this. Nice pace for me and the tractor. Wow, it's quite busy today. That's the load I brought in yesterday. And that's the load we've got to say. We're not quite level, we haven't got quite the full cubage I wanted on there, but anyway. Right, we're going to get the forklift now and shove that back.